Hey girl, it's the new me. I got a bigger screen, but the same thickness. So the big Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, it just happened, and there was a lot of info that they did give, but there was also a lot of info that was not in there and actually came out afterwards on their website and in press releases. So today we're gonna be breaking down our biggest takeaways from the Direct, as well as a bunch of info that you might not be aware of if you only watched the Direct. So takeaway number one, Nintendo doesn't like to talk about money. Perhaps the weirdest thing about the Direct was they made absolutely no reference to any cost at all. They gave info on like the hardware, they gave info on like games, on the way you like share things, but they didn't break down the cost.
They even talked about resolution, which they never do either.
Yeah, they talked about VRR,
Yeah.
but they didn't give the price.
HDR.
But guess what? We do actually have the price. I have it right here. The Nintendo Switch 2 goes for a cool $450 MSRP, with the Mario Kart World Bundle going for $500. This was given out in a press release and is on their website. But what about the cost of the games themselves? Well, according to the website, Mario Kart World will cost you a cool $80. Ooh boy. We all thought GTA 6 was gonna be the one to drop the whole $80 per game, but nope, here's Nintendo stealing Rockstar's thunder. What's really interesting about it is Donkey Kong Bananza only costs $70. So it doesn't seem like every game's gonna cost $80. Why they went with Mario Kart? Kurt, you kind of were saying that they might, it's like the game will last longer.
Yeah,
so maybe
yeah. I think I don't know anything, but Mario Kart has a tail,
Sure.
a lasting tail. Donkey Kong Bananza looks awesome.
Game looks
I don't
awesome.
know if they're gonna have like new racetracks for Bonanza, but they sure as hell will for World.
Yeah, the game looks great. The price, $80 is sure is a lot. I see people online saying that they're not gonna buy it, but
Yes, they will.
they will, they'll buy it. We also have the price of some other things. The Joy-Con 2s cost $90. The charging grip, that little thing that you use like once and then immediately throw away because you buy a Pro controller, that costs $34. The camera costs $50, and a replacement dock costs $110. So don't lose that first one, because that's a lot. One thing they did not mention was the cost of the upgrade packs, which is the thing where you can take your Switch game and you can upgrade it to a Switch 2 version. We have no idea how much that costs. Maybe that'll be a case-by-case basis for each game, but they did say afterwards that if you are a expansion pass owner for Nintendo Online, then you will get certain ones for free, specifically the Zelda ones.
I also wonder what the cost difference would be for Pokemon ZA on Switch 1 versus Switch 2, and they specifically said there's a Switch 2 version
Right.
of that. Is that going to be 70 versus 60 or 60 versus 80?
That's a good point. Yeah, I assume they would, I don't know, would you?
Because if they're charging for a upgrade pack, it's got to be more expensive, right?
Yeah, that would make sense, right? I think Sony typically goes around the $10 price range, so I feel like that would be acceptable, but we'll have to see. Also not said in the Direct, they are selling those stupid Joy-Con wheels that you can get for Mario Kart. There's not much to it. They're just the wheels that you can do this with, and I genuinely love that Nintendo is still selling these.
You got them behind you.
Oh yeah, these things. Yeah. It's like this, but it's gonna be, like a Joy-Con 2 goes in it. It does absolutely nothing, but it feels cool. So
I'm driving with motion controls.
Hey, look at me.
I play with motion controls. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takeaway number 2, Nintendo really wants the Switch 2 to be about connecting with others. A theme I noticed with this presentation is Nintendo really seems to be having the Switch 2 focused on interactivity with other players. The big question going into the Switch 2 was, what does this C button do? It works with a function called Game Chat, which is essentially like Nintendo's own Discord. I actually straight up thought it was Discord at first. Like it looked the exact same, but no, that, of course, like Nintendo's not gonna put Discord on their Switch. Like, are you crazy? No, they're gonna do their own thing. That's like how Nintendo rolls. But what's actually like really cool about it is that it allows them to do cool functionality for each game. So like as an example, they showed that when you play Mario Party Jamboree, you can actually have your like little camera face like showing up on there, on the icon like around your player. So you can kind of like react to your friends online while you're playing with them. I think that's actually really cool, you know, especially since people don't get together in person as much anymore. A lot of people just play online now. So like wanting to like bring some of that like connectivity that, to be honest, like already exists like pretty heavily on things like PC games to the Switch, it makes a lot of sense. And then of course they're selling a $50 camera for it if you want to do that. However, another piece of info not said in the Direct, you don't actually need to buy that camera. I'm gonna read what they say on the website. You may be able to use a USB-C camera accessory you already own. However, not all cameras may work as intended. You can easily check compatibility using the Test USB camera feature located on the Nintendo Switch 2 system settings. So there you go. Maybe before you go out and spend $50 on a webcam, check if your own personal one just like happens to work with it. But it's not just game chat that they're using to bring people together. They have things like Game Share, where you can now like actually like take a game that is locally played and you can like share that screen and like have the other another Switch like work with it locally. I know it's gonna work with the 51 Club games, which is totally rules, and you should play that if you haven't. I think that's like a genuinely really cool feature. That it just seems like a way to like, you know, like encourage people to play together more. Takeaway number 3. Next gen features, but not for everything. So they did do what we kind of assumed. They announced 4K support. You got HDR, you got VRR, if you have a TV that supports that, which is pretty cool. 120 FPS on some games, like Metroid Prime 4, that seems frankly overkill, but it's cool. Like that's awesome that Nintendo is doing that. What's interesting is that they kind of specified it is by a per game basis, which I mean, I think makes sense. Like, you know, like even like technically not all PlayStation 5 games support like VRR or like 120 FPS, but it'll be interesting to see how much of that that next gen-ness, that like 4K-ness like will apply to like their games in the future. It does seem like it is heavily dependent on the dock to make some of that work. They straight up have a fan now in the dock to keep your Switch cool for all those extra things it's doing. They announced that the Zelda games are getting both resolution and FPS boost, although they didn't actually mention the specifics of those, but variable refresh rate probably actually really huge for Zelda because like that frame rate can fluctuate real hard, and VRR, if you can support it, like does do wonders for that kind of thing. So that's really cool. Speaking of those Zelda upgrades, there's actually an entire separate video that Nintendo put on their website that's like 7 minutes long that details way more info about what's in those upgrades. They have 2 manual save support. There's leaderboards, which is really interesting. Yes. There's leaderboards in Zelda now. Max is nodding his head. Max is really
Max, what are you gonna do with those
leaderboards? Be at
leaderboards?
the top of that leaderboard very soon.
If it's Tears of the Kingdom, actually not, because I haven't played it that much recently, but it is cool that it's happening because it's like multiplayer within a single player game. I think it's cool.
What are they leaderboarding?
I think it's a whole bunch of different categories, like how many enemies you've killed, how far you've traveled, how much money you've collected. And there's different statistics for each thing.
Yeah.
So you can have like different categories, which is kind of cool.
You're gonna be at the top of it.
I hope so.
The coolest thing they're adding with the Zelda notes is that you can share your builds. Like the builds that you make, you know? Like, hey, I made like a weird monstrosity car. You can like, it'll give you a QR code that you can then like share to other people. That's like legitimately really cool. Like that's huge for that game. I think that'll like open up that community in a way because like I suck at building in that game. I can't do that. I would see people build like super cool stuff and be like, man, I want that. And I just like would not have the patience to like make that thing myself, right? I have no idea how. So the fact that I can then just like get a QR code and do that myself is like huge, Huge thing.
The thing
I love
about
it.
the thing about that is Hyrule Engineering was a specific Reddit where all these engineers came together to build these really cool things,
Yeah.
but they required some really finicky like glitches and stuff that like any normal player would not be able to do.
Oh, yeah.
So this really opens it up because like stake nudging and all these like really annoying like fuse entanglements, it's just like not fun for the normal player. So
Yeah.
giving it to somebody else without them doing the hard work is like a huge game changer for newer folk.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah.
That's really cool. Info not said in the direct. Games that are not compatible. They didn't actually go into like a detailed list because they wouldn't do that for a direct, but there is a PDF they put out that actually does list all of the games right now that either do not load or do load but have some weird compatibility issues. They do say on all of them that they're like looking into it and working on it, so maybe they'll update that list in the future. But if you are curious about that compatibility list, that is something you can go find. We'll link it in the description below, so that's pretty cool. Sorry, Kurt, Alan Wake Remastered's having issues on the Switch 2.
That's fine. I own it on other things. I will not be playing that again on the Switch 2. I'm okay.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you're all right. Takeaway number 4, more than just third-party ports. So, whenever Nintendo does a direct like this, usually when it comes to the third party, it's largely just, you know, hey, here's all the games that you know about that are now being ported over to our new system. And there was a lot of that, so we are getting games like Street Fighter 6, Cyberpunk 2077 is a real interesting one. I'm so curious how well that will run and look, but like, hey, that's like pretty cool that we're getting it on the Switch 2. But there was also like a couple of really interesting ones that I just found fascinating. One of them was Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. They just said they're adding new cutscenes. That's the only thing we know, which I find very fascinating because that game's like 10 years old at this point, but it's also one of my favorite games, so goddamn it, RGG, you got me again. I'm gonna buy it on the Switch too. I have to know, what are these cutscenes? What more is there to say? Tell me. But of course, the big game everyone's talking about is the Duskbloods, which is the From Software Switch 2 exclusive. The fans are losing their collective minds about it, not in a good way. They're pretty mad, apparently, which, you know, that's fair. I get that. Here's the thing. I bet you it'll eventually come to other platforms. That's my hot prediction. That was one of those fascinating moments where they showed the trailer and it was like, oh my God, are we getting like a Bloodborne 2 or like, you know, Bloodborne 2 asterisks? It's a new thing, but it's spiritual successor to Bloodborne. Like, did Nintendo look at all the fans like crying at the feet of Sony and be like, it's okay, like, come over here, we'll take care of you, we got it. Shh, don't tell them. We got Bloodborne 2, we're just gonna call it something different. So, yeah, that's cool. Except, info not said at the direct, this is from the From Software website. Duskbloods is a PvPvE title with online multiplayer at its core, where up to 8 players vie for supremacy among themselves and against challenging foes. So yeah. Takeaway number 5, Nintendo is struggling to recapture the magic of Wii Sports. So ever since the Wii and the massive success of Wii Sports, they've basically tried to have a Wii Sports style game for their consoles. Wii U had, I don't remember the name, Festival something?
Party something, right?
Party
Like,
Festival.
That was like Wii U Park.
Plaza, something.
No, that's the Iwata Plaza you're thinking of.
Oh, you're right.
It's the theme park.
You know,
The Wii U Park.
anyway, I don't remember the name, but that
Festival.
actually did rule. I really liked it. That was awesome. And a good example of like the capabilities of the Wii U while being a good game. For the Switch, they had 1-2 Switch, which was fine. Felt a little more like a novelty, didn't really last.
Oh, there you go. Now you got it. You're on a roll.
And for the Nintendo Switch 2, we have the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. I can feel the magic already. So what is this thing? It's like a fancy PowerPoint slide where you go around and you click on little kiosks and it tells you info about what the Switch 2 does, and then you get to play little mini games where you like sample the mouse and the gyro, and it costs money. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being cynical here. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be like fun and interesting. It's Nintendo, but it's I don't know, man. It's no Wii Sports. It's no Festival Plaza game. Last takeaway, Donkey Kong Bananza looks sick. At the end of the day, like, all I really care about with the Switch is like, are there cool Nintendo games? And you know, like, hey, they showed us Mario Kart and that looks pretty cool. They showed Kirby Air Riders, that looks cool. But,
Kinda. They like showed you a cutscene. They showed you a little CGI thing.
And that Sakura.
And the director who like needs to take a nap.
Okay,
but needs a healthy vacation.
The promise of it is at least cool. That seems neat. But they ended the show with Donkey Kong Bananza, and that just looks so much fun. Like that is the Nintendo like killer app. That's the thing I've been waiting for. I assume it is. Well, no, I'm not gonna say that because I don't know. But you are playing as Donkey Kong. He looks like crazy good. Like he looks animated and has like this style to him that you guys were kind of saying looks like the older Donkey Kong, right?
On the arcade cabinet.
The arcade cabinet. Yeah, he's like they're going for like this like very stylized animated Donkey Kong. He wears pants now. Presumably, no, not a fan of the pants.
Not a fan of the pants.
Okay, I think he can take them off. There were some.
I want you to be able to like and then you like get a you can get him a bit and he tears off and then he even harder.
This is a Nintendo game.
And he usually isn't wearing pants and suddenly they're like, but he wears a tie.
All right, that's it?
Yep.
Cool.
Also, I want to complain about something.
Okay, yep. Whoa.
Where the hell was the sequel to Just Be Yourself, Try to Have a Good Time? And so we got, this is the Nintendo Switch. I'm a quirky guy telling you about quirky stuff, but I wanted a girl, where's the girl with the friends on the rooftop? Where's the guy neglecting his dog to play Breath of the Wild? Where's like the cool little thing? So we got, I'm not alone in this, right? Where's the spark? Where's the come on, still be yourself and continue to have a good